Hi there, Ford owners. Today in your 2015 Ford F350 Super Duty, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install B&W's Patriot 18K fifth wheel hitch. And this is what our Patriot looks like when it's installed. It does just drop right down into your base rails and pin in place. We are using B&W's base rail kit, but you can use another manufacturer's base rail kit and still use this fifth wheel hitch. I do recommend using B&W's though, because that's going to give you the cleanest fit and finish to get your hitch installed here. Again, it will slide into the other ones, but I found that the machining on the B&W ones just seem to be the best, so it works the best with the B&W. This hitch here is rated for 18K, so if you've got a trailer up to 18,000 pounds, you can pull that behind it. It has a 4,500 pound vertical load limit, which is the force going down on top of our hitch. And this is a sliding hitch, so it's designed for your shorter bed trucks. If you've got an 8-foot bed truck, you probably don't have any issues with just a standard fifth wheel because you don't need that extra cab clearance. But in these short bed trucks, our fifth wheel trailer is so close to the cab that when we go to make sharp turns, it's possible that our trailer could come into contact with our cab, and you can do some pretty significant damage pretty quickly if they do come into contact. So with our Patriot here, we can release the lever, and when we take off, our trailer will be able to slide back. It will then lock into place, giving us that extra cab clearance that we need. So now we can pull into that filling station or maybe your campground, wherever you needed to. And once you've taken care of your business, when you get back out on a straight road, you can pull your lever and you can lock yourself back in and you're good to go. The hitch head does have 3 different mounting positions, so you can position it as necessary to get proper cab clearance and also potentially fit it under your tonneau cover. You do have to take all your measurements to verify that you are going to clear. But now that we've covered some of the features of our fifth wheel here, if you want to follow along with us, we'll show you how to assemble it and get it installed. We're going to start here since we already got our base in the rails there. We might as well just assemble it right here. So I did go ahead and put all the lock pins in to make sure that none of my pins can slide out, to make sure everything's going to still be where I want it to be here. And then we'll take our risers and we can install those. Now if you have a different hitch, you'll want to follow your instructions, but if you're using the same hitch that we're installing here, you can follow along with us. Our risers here have 2 different orientations they can go in. This is going to be the most cab clearance in this position here because the angle is greater. It's positioning it further towards the rear of our vehicle. You could also install it like this if you wanted to, and that'll bring the head closer to the cab of the truck. In most cases, I would say you're probably going to want to put it in the further rearward position, especially if you got a slider and stuff. You're going to need as much clearance as you can get. So we're going to be putting it in this direction. Now if you notice, there's 4 holes in our riser, so that means we're going to be using 4 bolts to secure it. Down inside of our hitch here, we've got 4 holes, 2 rows of 4 holes. I'm sorry, 5 holes, 2 rows of 5 holes. You can install this in the upper, middle, or lower position based on those holes. We're going to be putting ours in lower position to allow the tonneau cover to still close. But the most important measurement that you would really want to go off of is the height of your trailer when your trailer is level. You want to measure from the ground to the underside where it overhangs over your truck here. And then you also want to measure your truck from the ground to the top of the bed rails so you can see what kind of clearance you're going to have when you're hauling your trailer all level and everything. And then you would want to adjust the riser here as necessary to make sure you get proper clearance between your trailer and your bed rails. We don't know what trailer the customer has though. They didn't give us any specifications, so we don't know what heights he's going to need it at. So we're going to be putting it into a medium lower setting that will allow the tonneau cover to close. So we're going to take our hardware here and we're going to put a lock washer on it. You'll have 4 of these per side. Now slide it in there and choose the position that makes the most sense for your trailer's ride height. And if you refer to your instructions, it'll tell you in there what the positions are for the various holes. But again, the biggest thing is that you're able to have the proper clearance, so when you hit bumps and stuff like that and taking curbs, you're not going to be dragging your trailer across your bed rails. So we'll get the second bolt started in there. Once we got 2 of them in there, it'll hold itself up so we can more easily install the remaining 2. Okay, after we've got that started, we're just going to start the other side the same way. So the other one you get is going to be the mirrored image of it, so that way it can still angle inward like this and still have the further offset towards the rear to match that one. So they are somewhat side specific depending on the orientation you're wanting to put them in. Once we've got each one started, we're going to run them down with a 3/4 inch socket. Then we'll switch over to our torque wrench and torque them to the specifications outlined in our instructions. Next, we're going to install our spring, and we're going to do that on the driver's side riser. The spring has a little clip mount that we're going to use. The clip mount will position like this with the hole towards the rear of the vehicle, the little tab that's aiming off of there. We want the distance that we set it at here to allow our spring to be about a 1/2 inch below the rubber piece there. So you can just kind of hold it together like that. A finger width for me is about a 1/2 inch, so that looks pretty close to about a 1/2 inch right there. So now we're just going to tap it into place. And it can be kind of difficult to tap this guy on here. Hey, all right. Yeah, it's pretty good. About a finger space, that'll work. Okay. After you've got it hammered on there, we're going to take the spring and secure it to the little clip there with the small bolt and nylon locking nut. Just slide those through there. And then we're going to use a 7/16 socket and wrench to snug it down. That'll hold our spring assembly in place for us. Our head assembly just simply sits on there. The little levers here is what I'm picking it up by, because when those are up, that's the release position. And then when they drop down, it locks it in place. So now we're going to install the handle here for the release handle. So there's a pin inserted in there. Go ahead and just pull the pin out of there. We can then insert our handle in. The sticker should face towards the top. Just slide that in there. We can go ahead and drop our pin back down in there. Now we'll take the Allen head bolts that we've got. Those will drop down through the top. And then we've got locking flange nuts that you'll thread on the bottom of those. Once we get these both started, we'll snug them down. We're going to use a 9/16 wrench to hold the nut. And we're going to use a 7/32 Allen key to tighten down the bolt. And that completes our installation of B&W's Patriot 18K fifth wheel hitch on our 2015 Ford F350 Super Duty.